Well, it's 6:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I realize that there are people that might still be coming in, but I just want to make sure to respect everyone's time. As we get started, I just want to do a quick sound check. Can everybody see me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? And can everybody see the PowerPoint? All right, I got confirmation that everybody could see and hear me, so great. So as most of you guys know, I would like you guys to mute your microphones, which I think most of you have done. And then you can unmute it at any time that you want to share your thoughts, or if you have questions or questions that I may ask as well. Um, so, uh, so tonight's agenda looks like this for Module 4. We will start out with introductions, live classroom expectations, due dates. We'll check in on how the course is going and then dive into some lesson content. We'll review the developmentally appropriate practices from last week and then go over different instructional methods. And then we'll close with time for any of you guys to ask any questions you may have. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself and then hear a little bit about each of you. So I live in Colorado, as most of you guys know, and I am an education supervisor for a Head Start program in Denver. My favorite place to visit is California. I love the ocean. The last time I was in California, my wife and I took our daughter to Disneyland. As you can see in the photo, it's one of my favorite places to visit. So yeah, would like you guys to participate and share your name, state, favorite place you visited and why. And if you are watching this as a recording, please share your answer in your written response. Thank you.
Evening. Hi everyone. My name is Fortune. I live in Boston. My favorite place that I visited, not yet that I didn't visit it, but Bali will be my favorite. I haven't visited yet, but that's my dream place to visit. Other than that, I went to Minnesota. I seen a lot of the lakes. Not too, I wouldn't say that's my favorite, but I don't really have a favorite place. But I would say Bali is my favorite dream place, and hopefully, when this whole thing ends, hopefully to visit there.
Well, thanks Fortune for sharing. And um, uh, how's the COVID issue out east? How is
I am not that bad right now, but now the state has declared that, especially the state, the place that I live in, is you're gonna get fined if you leave the house without a mask. But other than that, it's good.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's pretty tough. Hopefully everything ends. I'm praying for everyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully they find a vaccine soon,
Yes.
so people could go back to normal life.
Scary out there.
Uh, so it looks like Keela, that's kind of funny you said Minnesota for too, because Keela, she lives in Minnesota. And her favorite place to visit is Duluth. Her family likes to do a lot of hiking and exploring around the North Shore. Thank you, Keela, for sharing. Mindy, yeah, favorite place to visit is in Lake Tahoe. Um, she does live in California, which is about, and it's 85 today. Nice. Thanks, Mindy, for sharing and welcome. I'm going to give time for, I think there is Kim who's on. Kim, and you could either unmute your microphone or you could use the chat box. Personally, I like people actually talking, so I could hear them.
Okay.
Hello. Kim, are you there? Kim, if you could hear me, you could use the chat box too if your audio is not working. Completely fine. All right, so Kim's microphone is not working, so we're going to go ahead and continue on. Um, um, so welcome everyone who are attending the live session. Just wanted to go over some live classroom expectations. If you are attending the live session, you guys are expected to engage with myself and your fellow students about the course concepts. The purpose of the live session is for open dialogue. And if you cannot attend the live session, like I know a lot of you can't, the video will be posted the next day. And then you must complete the live session quiz to earn credit. And then please answer the questions that I asked the class during the presentation in order to receive full credit. So you're going to have to actually view the recording, and any questions that I ask any of the students who are online, you will have to answer those questions as well in order to receive full credit. I want to take a moment just to go over some due dates. The initial post for this week's discussion is due by tonight at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is Tuesday, April 28th. The responses to peers and any additional questions I ask you are due Saturday, May 2nd at 11:59 Central Standard Time. The live session quiz, if you do not attend the live session, lesson plan part 3 and the exploration assignment are due Sunday, May 3rd at 11:59 Central Standard Time. And then one of the biggest things just to keep in mind is the last day of class is May 12th. That's only 2 weeks away from today, so it's going to go by, I'm guessing, pretty quick. It can really throw a lot of students off because it is a Tuesday, so just make sure to mark that on your calendar. And then I can't accept any late work. Actually, the college can't accept any late work. It can't be accepted after this date. So if you are having any barriers between now and then trying to get work in, please reach out to me as soon as possible so I could work with you to make sure that you could get those assignments in to get credit. Anyone have any questions regarding due dates? Excuse me. All right, so you're seeing that there is no questions. I wanted to check in. So how are things are going as we are halfway through the course? What has been your reactions to Module 3 content and the key takeaways that you've learned? Are you guys reading the announcements each week, and are you guys able to view my feedback on assignments? Do you know your grade to this point? And if you are watching the recording of this live session, please answer all these questions on the slide in your written answer. So, how's it going? I would like to hear from you guys. I'm looking at the chat box. Seems like Cartoon said it's going great. I think it's going pretty well. The feedback does help a lot. And you said things are going well. Just want to hear what are you guys' reactions to Module 3, the content. I'm glad that the feedback is really helpful for you guys. And if you guys ever have any questions about the feedback, you know, you could shoot off an email, text message. You could call if you would like to talk about anything at any point with your assignments. Mindy said she's enjoying the planning part of the last module. Good. Glad most of you guys are, seems like it's it seems pretty fun and easy for a lot of you guys. I know at times it can be a lot of work and within the midst of everything that's going on, it can get overwhelming, but you know, you guys are doing well. When I look at the grade book, get a big smile on my face because I know a lot of you guys are doing really well in the class. So I want you guys to give your guys a pat on the back and just keep up the good work and the hard work that you guys are doing each day throughout this class. All right, that was good. Some good feedback. I'm going to jump into a little bit of lesson content. We probably will. Uh, um, we probably will end shorter than usual. I try to go an hour, but I know a lot of you guys have a lot of stuff to do tonight. I know you guys have family time. I have family time just like you guys, so I just want to make sure that you know I'm not here just talking at you the whole time. So I just want to make sure that I'm respecting your time and making sure that whatever I'm doing here is meaningful. So let's jump into a little content. Developmentally appropriate practices. So yes, by the way, that is my daughter on the left. Yeah, she is a silly little girl. So yeah, anyways, let's review developmentally appropriate practices from last week. So were three areas of developmentally appropriate practice that need to be considered. The first is age appropriate meaning or age appropriate, which means meaning Does the lesson plan meet the child or children where they are in their development that is typical for their age? For example, asking a 2-year-old to cut out paper is obviously not developmentally appropriate, probably for most of them, because they have not yet developed the fine motor skills to use the scissors. Next, so that's age appropriate. The next one is being individually appropriate practices. So that's a meaning to making sure that the activity meets the specific needs and skill set of the child. Like I said, I included my daughter in the slide because I'm going to use her in an example. It is age appropriate for a 4 to 5-year-old, which she is 4.5, to cut out simple shapes. However, my daughter is actually developmentally delayed in her fine motor skills and hand strength. Therefore, she needs one-on-one support to practice cutting. This is just an example of how an age-appropriate activity can sometimes sometimes needs to be adjusted to meet the individual development of the child. So we went over age appropriate, and now that was individually appropriate practices. The next thing is culturally appropriate practices, which means respecting different cultures and family backgrounds. Um, for example, some cultures believe not finishing your plate is wasting food and unacceptable, while other families focus on only eating until full. Um, Therefore, a teacher should not force a child to clean their plate nor rush a child to leave the table before they have finished. Um, so yeah, just going over those three development appropriate practices, those three areas of development. It's really they are a little bit different in all of them, but they kind of are under the umbrella of the development appropriate practices. I know that you guys last week, um, you guys were sharing that, or you guys were reading about that last week. So I just wanted to touch a base a little bit about that. I don't have any questions about that, but I did want to open it up for anyone to share anything if they had anything regarding developmentally appropriate practice, and then anything that yeah, anything from the three areas of developmentally appropriate. Keela responded that she doesn't really have much to say about it, but she does think that the students are different and it's really knowing your students. Yes, definitely knowing and getting your relationships with each of your students and families and knowing them at a personal level, and creating that relationship really will strengthen your lesson plans when you know a lot about their background and what they can and what they cannot do and some of their cultural aspects. Yes. Thanks for sharing, Keela. Anybody else have anything to add? being patient with each child, development pace, yes. Cartoon, you definitely hit it on the nose, making sure that making sure to meet them where they're at with their ages and stages of development. And one of the biggest things too is medium where they're at and then scaffold their learning to ensure that they are going to learn them. And when you do scaffold their learning, it does help a lot with making sure that learning outcomes are met. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. If you are viewing this recording, you don't have to answer any of this, but just keep in mind that if you do have something to add about this, that would be great. So I'm going to continue on. Instructional methods. So I know this week that you guys should be reading chapter 4 of your textbook. This chapter will review different instructional techniques. I will briefly review them here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Montessori, Reggio Emilia, direct instruction, high scope, creative curriculum project, and the project approach. So I'm going to start with the Montessori method. Basically, Montessori method focuses on self-paced instruction and self-directed learning. Montessori classrooms are typically focused on 5 main areas of learning. So they're focused on practical life, sensory learning, language, mathematics, and cultural or global learning. So that's just a little brief overview of and what that is and their kind of approach to learning. The Reggio Emilia is similar to Montessori in a sense that the teachers are guides in learning rather than authority figures. However, Reggio Emilia classrooms vary greatly from classroom to classroom as they are designed around the unique interests of the particular set of students. While Montessori classrooms remain fairly consistent from one classroom to another. So there is a little bit of difference there. How Montessori is fairly consistent from one classroom to another, and then the Reggio Emilia classrooms are more designed around the unique interests of the students in the class. And then you have your direct instruction. In direct instruction, basically, this is kind of a school setting. Was first introduced to preschool children in the 1960s, and it places the responsibility of children's academic progress on teachers. So it's really kind of similar to the school setting, public school setting. It focuses on mastery of skills rather than development towards mastery, if that makes sense. And then there is the high scope approach. Basically, this is it's basically learning through play. It combines teacher-led and child-led activities. There is usually a curriculum that you're given, and you just follow that curriculum. And then there's the creative curriculum. This is what my centers actually use in our program. It was developed by a Head Start curriculum coordinator. It focuses on the whole child approach to learning through purposeful play that is based on familiar experiences that are pertinent to their everyday lives. Um, and then we have the uh, project approach, which is not a full curriculum model, but it can be combined with other approaches to enhance learning. The project approach focuses on specific topics and continues the lesson over a series of days, weeks, or even months. Um, so, having said all that, and if you are viewing this recording, you will need to answer this question. What instruction method do you use in your classroom? And like I said, please share your answer to this question if you're watching the recording as well. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys use in your childcare centers? Or what have you used if you're not currently in one right now? He listed that she used the high scope and she has used the creative curriculum. Sheila, have you found which one did you like better? You like the high scope or did you like creative curriculum? She said she liked the high scope. She liked to learn more through play. Yes. Fortune also, and she said that the kids I have do as well. Yeah, I think that obviously, a lot of children do like to use, obviously, like play-based curriculums, and that is a really good curriculum for that, for them to play with. Uh, Fortune said that she's used both Geo Emilia and Montessori method. I have a lot of comments. I'm gonna make sure to go through everyone. Mindy said that we use more of a direct instruction as well as creative curriculum. Hi Amber, I didn't even realize that you were on. Thank you for showing up. Amber said in her childcare setting, she used creative play curriculum, engage the children in finding different methods of learning. And Kim said she is not currently in a childcare setting. Have you heard of any of these before, Kim? Any of these instructional methods? Yeah. So yeah, they're a little bit different than some of they're a little bit different than they're just a little bit different on all of them, but they all have the same meaning, trying to make sure that children's learning outcomes are met. Um, so that is something that you guys will be reading about, which is great. Um, and then Amber also said that she would like to work in a Montessori method based program. Amber, can you share why you want to work in a Montessori method based program? Just curious.
I, well, as of right now, the children that I work with is more creative play curriculum. Basically, we allow them to create their own method of learning because every child is different and every child learns and adapt to different things. For Montessori, it allows us to actually place things in throughout the classroom and visually see them, attach to them, and learn from them, and actually engage one another in their learning process by explaining or reviewing or actually engaging together in the classroom with a specific item or a specific activity or project. I feel like the Montessori method caters more to that specific set of learning for children.
Sure. And Amber, have you ever worked in a Montessori program?
No, I haven't. These past couple of semesters, a lot of my classes spoke on the different methods like Montessori and the Amelia approach, and I gravitated more towards the Montessori method. It kind of popped on a light bulb, and I kind of got really interested in it. So, no, I haven't worked in one, but I think that's my goal in the future.
Yeah, I would yeah, definitely observe a Montessori before you go in, and just to see what it's like. I honestly have not observed a Montessori program. Haven't even observed a Reggio Emilia program, but I know that these programs are out there, and I am curious to see what some of these other instructional methods to learning are. Um, Obviously, the direct instruction I have, high scope, creative curriculum, project approach, which is really not an instructional method, but it is um, a model almost. So, yeah, my goal is to see Reggio Emilia in a Montessori instructional method because I feel like that is really fascinating to see something that I haven't actually saw firsthand. Awesome. Does anybody have anything else to add? All right. From not seeing anything in the chat box and not hearing anything else, that concludes actually our live session tonight. It was short. Feel free to ask any questions about information presented in this session or any questions about the course expectations in general. Um, so yeah, basically it does wrap it up. Uh, if you guys have any questions, feel free to you could either ask them now, you could reach out to me via text, via email, via phone call, however you want to communicate. Lines are always open. If I see a number I don't usually see and you leave a message, I will get back to you. But if you text, usually I could get back to you quicker. So yeah, that's pretty much concludes our live session. Just once again, does anyone have any questions? And if anyone does not have any questions, um, just feel free to uh, write your name in the chat box so I know who was all here and I could take that down. And yeah, that's about it. Have a good night, ladies.